Welcome to Coast Reflector Tech Net, number 621, just shy of 12 years. My name is Kevin. I'll be your net control station. I'm located in Portland, Oregon, and my call sign is Kilo Echo 7 Kilo. Tonight's question is, do you plan on going to a ham fest this summer? You plan on going to a ham fest this summer, so be contemplating that until you are checked in. As per usual, we've got an order for the net. We begin with system facilitators. Then we'll take silent keys, users new to the tech net, then the question portion, and then the swap and shop, and then general check-ins. Tonight, general check-ins will begin with 2 and continue 2 through 9, and then 0 and 1. Roger, KO4QMM, Dick, WB2JPQ will be your net controllers for that portion of the net this evening. You're a East Coast Reflector system facilitator, team member. Please come now with your call sign if you'd like to check in. B2JPQ. Hey, good evening, Dick. Go ahead.
Hi, Kevin. I just want to remind everybody about Dayton this weekend. That's kind of why the question is up on the board tonight. Kind of kept it general. Do you plan on going to a ham fest this summer? I know many are planning on going to Dayton or Xenia. I guess it will be Dayton in my mind. Come visit us. Come look us up if you're going. We'll be in the outdoor flea market, 7585 to 7589. 75 slots, 7585 to 7589. So come look us up and sit down with us, chat for a little bit, and let us take your picture. The other thing is Thursday night is SWL W2ECR. I guess I'll do it from the hotel. We should be easily back from setting up on Thursday. Be in Elmer in our Zoom room this coming Thursday. I don't know if Mark's in here, but I'll plug the open mic night tomorrow. Open mic night at 8 o'clock, so come join us. We're having a lot of fun there as well. I guess that's it from this end. I'll see you a little bit later. Back to you, Kevin. This is WB2JPQ.
Hey, very good, Dick. Talk to you a bit later. Any other ECR facilitators, team members that would like to check in? All right, nothing heard. We'll move on to silent keys. We did find one in our database this week. Whiskey Delta 8 Lima India Charlie Bob in Northwood, Ohio. Does anybody else have a silent key East Coast Reflector family they'd like to bring to the net this evening? Please come down. I'll give the NB4 TV node one more chance. I saw some key ups, but no audio. Final call for anybody with a silent key from the East Coast Reflector family. Please come now. All right, nothing heard. I'll make a final call for Bob from Northwood, Ohio, who's been on the system at some point. I'm sure some of us have talked to him. So Bob, WD8LIC, this is W2ECR. This is KE7K, your net control station. Next up in the order of operations this evening is new to the Tech Net. Users new to the Tech Net. You may have checked into a net before on the East Coast Reflector, or we may have talked to you just in general on the air. But if you have not checked into the Tech Net before and you'd like to get up at the front, this is your chance. New users only, call signs only.
KI4JQL. This is November 1, Queen Whiskey. So, I'm Charlie, Juliet. Kilo 4, Papa Juliet Mike.
Kilo Frank 8 EDV. All right, let me recognize what we got there. Ronald, good evening to you. Kilo India 4 Juliet, Quebec Lima. And Arthur, November 1 Quebec Whiskey. Chester and Perry will have to ask you to stand by. Looks like you've checked in before. And the station coming in on the Detroit, Michigan node, Kilo Fox 8 Echo Victor Victor is what we got. Can you confirm or correct that, please? Yeah, it's Kilo Foxtrot 8 Echo Bravo Victor. I appreciate the correction, Michael. KF8EBV. I got you in the log from Farmington, Michigan. We'll come back to you in just a minute. Before I recognize these stations, tonight's question, do you plan on going to a ham fest this summer? Ronald is up first in Belvedere, Tennessee. Ronald, I'm from Knoxville, Tennessee originally, and I'm not familiar with Belvedere, so let me know where that's at. Introduce yourself and answer tonight's question if you like. KI4JQL, KE7K.
E7K, I probably will end up in Ham Fest. I've been to one already this year. Belvedere is just a small town without even a stoplight in it. It's outside of Winchester, Tennessee. You might be a little more familiar with that one. I moved to Winchester about 7 years ago. I'm originally from North Carolina. Kind of been off the air pretty much for the last 10 years or so. Just am getting an antenna back up and trying to get things going again, blowing the dust off of it. And just like to say hello to everyone on the net. This is the first time I've actually heard of the Tech Net, so maybe tell me more about that.
SWL.
Sure, we had an ID come across there. Hopefully we can get that turned off. Ronald, so the node that you're coming in on, I sort of lost track of it. It looks like it's an IRLP node. I don't have it right here in front of me, but it's connected to a larger system known as Reflector, and we bridge lots of different modes. You're coming in on our IRLP, I'm on but we have Echo Link and quite a number of different ways to get in. But we run a Tech Net every Tuesday night, starts at 8 p.m. East Coast time, and you have stumbled on a good time. So back to you, Ronald.
Yeah, I was thinking this repeater that I'm logging in on might be in Fort Payne, Alabama, maybe, but I'm not certain of that. Maybe Huntsville, Alabama, perhaps. I'm really not certain. I've been programming some into my radio here lately and kind of lost track of them. But that's very interesting. I'd like to hear more about this, and I'll be checking back in again next week for sure.
Well, thanks for checking in, Ronald. Yeah, that repeater that you're on is in Huntsville, Alabama. It's November for HSC, the North Alabama Repeater Association, so you can look them up if you want more information on them, but they're connected to us pretty much full time. So we'll always be here if you tune in that frequently, it's local to you. So thanks for checking in, Ronald. We'll send you a welcome letter later this evening, and please stick around for the rest of the net. Arthur in Lincoln, Maine, November 1, Quebec Whiskey X-Ray. The floor is yours.
This is N1QWX. Well, I don't have too very much to say here tonight. I just wanted to check in. And I'll answer the question. I won't be making it to any ham fest this summer. I live too far away from them. So I think I'll turn it back to that. Thanks to everyone, and have a great night.
So thanks for checking in, Arthur. Just at the moment is Michael in Farmington, Michigan, KF8 Echo Bravo Victor. Good evening, Michael.
Good evening. I just got my license last week. I passed the technician to general, and I am riding the bus out of Ann Arbor, Michigan to Dayton on Saturday. They do a day trip, and you 4:30 in the morning. You get down there at 8:30, and you leave at 5:30 from the convention, and come back about 9:30 or 10:30. So looking forward to it.
Thanks for checking in, Michael, and welcome to the Reflector. The East Coast Reflector Tech Net is still open for users to this net. If you have not checked in on the Tech Net before, please come now.
Kilo Lima 5 X-Ray Papa. I am new to this net.
Good evening, Mark, in Fairbanks, Alaska. KL5XP. That's a pretty cool call sign. To answer tonight's question, introduce yourself if you like. Do you plan on going to a ham fest this summer?
My summer plans would gladly include a ham fest. However, I'm going to be hooking my camper trailer to the back of my pickup truck and traveling around the interior of Alaska to Denali Park and seeing the mountains and the great scenery. And I take my cat with me in the truck, and I'm not sure exactly go from there.
Very good, Mark. That sounds like a great adventure to go on. I'm currently following a guy on Instagram that's sailing. He left from Portland, Oregon, and he's sailing Hawaii. And I follow another guy that does a lot of driving between Alaska and down to Canada and the US. So it's kind of best of both worlds, Mark. Hope you have a good time, and check in on the Reflector. We'd love to keep up with your adventure along the way. The Tech Net is still open for any users new to this net. New users only, please.
KQ4 Sierra India Alpha Oscar.
And we got you down as Oscar, KQ4 India Alpha. Confirm that call sign and feel free to answer tonight's question.
On here and testing out a hotspot I have set up with WTSD, and it's been giving me fits, but I think it's working.
Well, it seems to be working at the moment, Oscar. Thank you for checking in. I'm glad you found us this evening. We'll be sending you a welcome letter as well. I'll make a final call for any stations new to the Tech Net that would like to check in. New stations only, please.
This is Robert, K0RMS, checking in.
KN6 RWD, Steve.
KAO, Kelly. WAL, WAL.
All right, let me grab it right there. K0RMS, Rob. You've checked in before. I'll let you stand by for the zeros. We got Steve in Twin Pine Palms, California, KN6 RWD. And then we've got at least 3 stations we need to work out here. I heard a Kilo November 6, Yankee November Delta, KN6YN. Can you confirm or get close to that? All right, the station on the El Dorado Hills, California node, 44.100. You were a little broken the first time, and the second time you weren't. You were only open the repeater, but absolutely no audio. So I'm going to try to give it one more shot. If you're on HT, make sure you're on high power and hold that antenna as vertical as possible. Station in El Dorado Hills, California, or the vicinity, please come again with your call sign. Or that station in California, you'll have to try a bit later, just not working at the moment. We'll get you in here as soon as we can. There was the Whiskey Alpha Lima station, Whiskey Alpha Lima. Could you come back with your full call, please? Nothing heard from the Whiskey Alpha Lima station. Was there an operator named? We got your name, but no call sign. Could you come back with your call sign, please?
A0 KAO, Kilo Alpha 0, Kilo Alpha Oscar, Kelly.
Yeah, very good, Kelly. We got you that time 100% in the clear, sounding good. A0 KAO. We'll come to you in just a second. Steve was just in front of you. KN6RWD, good evening. Do you plan on going to a ham fest this summer?
Well, I would really like to do that, but unfortunately, I have animals eaten and taken care of, and I don't have anybody to back me up, so I'm kind of stuck at home this summer. This fall, I'll head out to the East Coast and spend a couple of months back there. It's like summertime is staying home time. KN6RWD back to net.
Thanks for checking in, Steve. Kelly, in Piasta, Iowa, KA0KAO. Good evening to you, Kelly.
0 KAO. Yeah, this is all new to me. Robert did a to our ham club a while back about all this all-star stuff, and it was really good. Well, I dropped over for a beer here, and you had you guys check in, so I did. Good to hear you guys out there. That was crystal nice. K0KO back to net.
Yeah, very good. Well, sorry we had to make him stand by, but glad you got in there, and glad he connected up and impressing some ears. So thanks for checking, Kelly. Hope you get him to keep that note on the air. I'll make one more call for any users new to the Tech Net. Please come now.
Hotel India Foxtrot.
I recognize W9HIF, Leland. Stand by just for a second. We got a park call out of York Station, Cortland, New York, KC2Z. If that sounds like your call, please come back with your... Hold on. Yeah, I hear you trying New York, but you're just not close enough or don't have enough power. See if you can... see if you can correct one of those two issues and try it again a bit later. Leland, you'll be our last new station this evening. Whiskey 9, Indy Foxtrot. Good evening. Do you plan on going to a ham fest this summer?
I don't plan on going to a ham fest this summer, but I've been to many over the years, and it's not out by choice, but by situations and whatnot, where I don't drive anymore. Since I had a stroke 3 years ago, I had to give up my driver's license, so I don't drive any place. I'm relying on other people to get me places. W9HIF.
All right, thank you for checking in this evening, Leland. Next up on the Tech Net this evening is the question portion. If you have an amateur radio related technical question, please come now with your call sign.
That last transmission issue, net control, if you don't mind repeating that, please. I4JQL. Alpha Delta 2, India Z.
This is Kilo Echo 7 Kilo, East Coast Reflector Tech Net. Robert, I recognize you, Alpha Delta IZ. Go ahead with your question.
I have a little confusion on how All-Star works. I'm using All-Star right now to get into you, and of course I'm connected through a hotspot to the All-Star node, but if I'm out traveling, connect to a repeater. Is it possible to connect to like ECR if that repeater is not connected to ECR at the time? So is it, possible to dial the phone, I guess is what I'm asking.
Well, if I understand your question correctly, Robert, I can that one for you very easily. So if you have an All-Star node, you can connect directly to us. We have node numbers 27339, 45225, and 45192. There are our three main hubs. And if you're used to connecting to a repeater that happens to be connected to us, and you're connecting to them via All-Star, you can connect to us exactly the same way, just with one of those 3 node numbers. Did I understand your question correctly?
Okay, I think I may have just figured out what my question is. So if I'm dealing with a repeater, which I have never done, supports All-Star, I would just use DTMF to dial that node, star 3, and the node number, and get connected that way?
Okay, I got you. Now I understand your question, and now I realize that you are connected to us directly. So you're trying to come in on the RF side on a repeater and be able to steer that repeater to the East Coast reflector. Is that correct?
Yes, that would be correct. And the second half of that question being then does, how do you know whether the repeater allows that or not?
Well, I think I'll answer your questions in the opposite order. I would first find out the repeater that you're trying to control and verify that they allow that, and if they do allow that, they'll give you the codes. There are, default codes that the All-Star nodes or IRL set up with, but any local repeater or group could change those to be different codes that are only given out given out to specific people. So I would start with reaching out to the repeater owner and finding out if they allow that and what the codes would be. If they do tell you that you're allowed to control the repeater, then they would give you whatever the
information. Yeah, I think I'm understanding, which means if you're out traveling without a hotspot, that the repeaters is going to be somewhat problematic because unless you know the repeaters along the way that you're traveling to start with, and can pre-plan that in advance. But I think you answered my question. Let me know if I'm wrong.
Kilo 6 Alpha November comment.
Comment.
Yeah, 2 comments. Recognize Mike and Press. Press, I heard you in there first. I'll pick you up first. W2PW and K6AAN. Bob, I think you've got it. You can drive along and try DTMFs on any repeater you want. It may work and it may not, but probably not the best form to just and without asking. So I would reach out to those repeaters first. But let's see what Press has to say, and then we'll pick up Mike. W2PW, go ahead with your comment.
Good evening, Kevin. Net, thank you for taking me and allow this to be my one and only check-in. Heading to Dayton tomorrow, so that would be a positive on Hamfest this summer. Suggestion for 82IK, I heard him mention a phone. So there's an Android phone app called DV Switch, Delta Victor Switch, that you can use to access nodes directly also, if they have enabled web transceiver. So we can get you more information on that. I know that the ECR has a node or two that is designed to handle that kind of an input. Kevin, I'd like you to recognize that momentarily. There's an issue that does affect a lot of people I'd like to address real quick.
Yeah, go ahead, Press.
Thanks. There's a bug in the All-Star setup where it's extremely easy to put a mic preamp in line, which results in far too much audio, which results in a raspy, distorted voice peaks. Consider going into simple USB tune menu and turning B for boost off, and then resetting your RX level with choice number 2. But at this point, if you looked at choice number 2, which is RX audio level, and you transit it, you would probably find that virtual BU meter slammed. So there's too much gain, and it's not your fault, but it's something that we can help you, or you can help yourself turn down. So B for off, always the is a Thanks, Kevin. I'll stand by if there's any follow-up questions. Otherwise, I'm on site.
Thank you, Mike. K6AAN.
Good evening, Kevin, and the rest of the net. I queried allstarlinks.org specifically about getting it on a phone, and it can be done, and I downloaded the instructions from those guys and the phone number, and any All-Star user can get on that phone number and dial into any node that you want, listen to it, and transmit it over. So, for you got cell service, get the instructions off of there, and you can put it to work as long as you got cell service. This is K6AAN.
Thanks for both those comments, Bob. Did that prove helpful?
Yeah, that's helpful. I'm aware of the DV switch, and haven't tried it to a reader, but or actually I guess I have. I'll have to look into that. I was not aware of the phone number. I mean, I was dial the phone to using the node ID for a number, but I will look into that one also. So thank you. Got things to look at and a lot more learning to do. Status may be an extra, but you know, I'm brand new at this, so bear with me. Thanks, 73s, and I will not be going to Hamfest this summer. I've got to get my feet a little more grounded before I go someplace I might go crazy. Thanks. Back to you, Kevin. Comment?
In a comment station, please give us your call sign and then go ahead with your comment.
Yeah, it probably would have helped if I gave my call sign when I said comment. Whiskey Alpha 2 Kilo Juliet Charlie W2ECR Dave Kyle. Just want to know that Echolink has a web app, so if you've got a phone or whatever that's accessing the internet that has web server capability, web app webapp.echolink.org. As long as you're registered with Echolink, you can log in to the new web server and then connect from there to another Echolink node. Back to net, WA2KJC.
Dave, this is AE7K, the East Coast Reflector Tech Net is currently open for any amateur radio technical questions.
India Alpha Oscar. I have a question concerning this Pi Star and W2ECR. I noticed that I can't get the voice back on disconnect or parrot, but it still works with Pi Star, even though I am connected. So I'm talking to you guys right now on hotspot with the W2ECR.
Oscar, I recognize you, KQ4SIA. I think we got most of your question regarding a PISAR in a WPSD mode, but would you mind repeating your question? We've got it correctly.
My question is that when I try to use parrot or disconnect on PiStar, I do get a response from the radio link, or parrot will respond to me back. It echoes. But on this new program, WPSD, I don't get a disconnect, even though it does. And I don't get a response on parrot, even though I know I am connected.
We'll throw it out to the group. Anybody with any comments on Oscar's WPSD issues with parent and disconnect notifications? A final call on it. On any comments on Oscar's question, please come now.
W82IZ, comment.
We got press W2 and 82IZ. Press, go ahead with your comment, please.
Thanks. WPSD is a digital operating system that sort of replaced PiStar, but it does support multiple. I'm wondering exactly what the caller is trying to use.
Yeah, Oscar, go ahead and take the floor and answer Press's question regarding what mode you're using.
DMR, that's kind of what it is for now.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. DMR is tricky. The code plug is your programming of your radio needs to expect to hear certain talk groups. It's called a scan list. It's a little misleading because scan lists are usually like, oh, what 14 repeaters do I want to scan? In DMR world is the acceptance of calls from a certain node, and the node that you're looking to manipulate, for example, the disconnect would be talk group 4000, which must be a, let me see if I got this right, forgot. I think it's a private call. So if you're trying to call to 4000 to do a disconnect, number one, you would want to set your code plug so that it's a private call. And number two, you need to have 4000 in your scan list so you can hear it come back to you. Make sense?
Yeah, copy that. I'm going to go ahead and listen to my full flood and see how to think about that. Because what confused me is it works on PyStar. I have no issue. For the new one, I made a separate canvas just for the new one. And I'm talking on it right now. It works fine as far as getting out. But I just don't get the messages back on my radio. And it works fine on repeater. Just with WPSC, and I can PyStar with my hotspot, works fine. It's just this. Like I said, this is brand new. I just put this on there last night, so I'm working out the bugs.
Okay, well, I'm no expert on DMR. I know enough to confuse people, but I think that's the direction you should go on. These symptoms are sort of yelling to me a little bit about my radio can't decode the thing is coming back to me as an acknowledgement of a disconnect. And I don't. So those two things I'd like you to look at. And that's what I got. Back to net, W2W.
All right, thank you, Press. Robert, 82IZ, go ahead with your comment.
Yeah, Press covered my comment, but on top of that, the question would be which network are you using, Brandmaster or TGIF or some other one, because for Parrot on TGIF, that's a group call, and Brandmaster, I'm pretty sure it's a public call, not a group call, so that may have something to do with it, I'm not sure. First, TGIF doesn't, although you can do 4,000 there, you don't need to change groups. So they're a little different depending on which you're on. But and then the last part of that is what are you using for a talk group for parrots? Which one are you using? Because there's multiple parrots.
Thanks for your comment. Robert, do you have any follow-up questions? KQ4 SIA KE7K. Nothing heard. Anybody else with an amateur radio related technical question, please come now. The final call. Final call for any amateur radio related technical questions. Please come now.
TNR, T2, Papa Romeo. My question is very basic. So when I key up and the repeater beeps and I start talking, when I, let the mic unkey, so to speak, and I hear the beep, I notice my S meter is still sitting pegged. Is it okay to talk at that point, or do I have to wait till it drops? Sorry, Kevin, my favorite repeater, my favorite subject.
Well, go ahead, W2PW. You're batting 1,000 this evening. Go ahead.
Dude, I wasn't even going to be here tonight. W2PNR, W2PW. So, yes, there are two courtesy tones that your node hears. With the RTUF, it's a high-low tone for you, it's a high tone for them. In other words, distant signals will present a dweep, and local signals will present a boop, which is not the same in all repeaters, but there's probably a difference everywhere. It is not required, in fact, it's not recommended to do a full tail drop. That being, there is a timing sequence. So what we recommend is when you hear the dweep, when he's done talking on the other end, you want to come back to him, leave a little, boom, sort of I want like a little 2-second pause. That gives people outside on the network a chance to disconnect what you got to do. Then once you
Press, you dropped out there at the end of your explanation. Are you still with us? W2PW, KE7.
Sorry, I'll watch the battery light. Okay, so real quick, a full tail drop is not necessary, but when the other party stops talking, it's nice to give a full 2 seconds, 1,000, 2, 1,000, okay, and then squeeze your mic and wait another second before you start uttering syllables, because the timing sequence, it's not necessary to wait for the entire green light to go out on your radio, but that will linger and then another linger before you start speaking. If that makes sense? PNR, yes, that absolutely makes sense, and I really appreciate the explanation. It's very clear. W2PNR. One of the things that you can do is to listen to Kevin. He's got the timing thing perfect. He waits before he starts speaking. So when you just get an idea of what the rhythm feels like, you'll fall right in place. 73 W2W.
Thanks for the explanation, Press, and I appreciate the compliment. I get sort of the opposite compliment. I'm sort of trained for the pause here on the Reflector because most of my time's on. But when I get on Simplex, I think it drives people crazy when there's just a bunch of dead air. So I guess know your mode. Final call. Amateur radio related technical questions. All right, third, the last on my list of duties this evening is to pass it to Kevin, VE3BZ, for tonight's swap shop listings. Go ahead, Kev.
Thank you, Kevin, and good evening, everyone. This is Kevin, VE3BZ, with tonight's swap and shop. I have a few items here. Item number 1 is from Danny, K5CG, Texas. Danny is selling a AC2DR held C4FM analog dual bander. Does APRS, has built-in GPS, recording and logging capabilities, water resistant, and comes with many accessories. And he's asking $400 shipping in the continental United States. And Danny's email is k5@hamoperator.org. Item number 2 is from Gil, K4GDS in Orlando, Florida. Gil is selling a Yaesu FT70D along with an MMDVM high-star hotspot. This is also a dual band VHF, UHF, C4 FM and analog radio. And like I mentioned, it comes with the high-star hotspot along with a SSM17H speaker mic, rapid charger, USB charging cable, and pictures can be seen, or I guess contact Gil for pictures. He's got a listing on Facebook Marketplace as well. And he's asking $25 for the package. And Gil's email is k4gds@icloud.com. So let me reset. And next we have John, VE3MPH in Windsor, Ontario. The first lot of that he has are actually located in Detroit, Michigan, and will ship from there, and all prices are in U.S. funds. He has quite a few items, so if you want to know what he has there, you can contact him and find out pricing information and whatnot. And his email is ve3mph@yahoo.com. And the next listing from John, these are some of his own items, which are located in Windsor and will ship from Canada. And same thing, you can contact him to find out what he has. Quite a few. There's too many to list here. And again, his email is ve3mph@yahoo.com. And that is it for this week. If you have a retail trader want, go to eastcoastreflector.com, click on Contact ECR and SwapNet Submissions. Or just email me at ve3bz@rogers.com. Alright, back to net control, VE3BZ.
Great, thank you very much, Kevin, for organizing that and doing. And best of luck to your Toronto Maple Leafs. That seems to be turning into a chippy series, so I look forward to watching it. All right, everybody, that's the end of my assignment for this evening. Next up is the general check, which is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, and 1. Roger, the first portion of that, bringing up the last of the circus this evening. So appreciate your time, everybody. This is KE7K, passing the East Coast Reflector Tech Net over to Roger, KO4Q.
Thank you for that, Kevin. Wonderful job, as you always do. This is KO4QMM, Roger, Central Florida, and I'll be the net controller for districts 2 through 6. And then, like Kevin said, Vic will take you out the exit door. And I want to thank Vicki for logging. On that note, we will start with the 2s. Well, let's go ahead and give the text line. Let's start from the bottom. BK2DY, Robert Kelly, Ville Ridge, New South Wales. W2AJR, Andy, AD2IZ, Robert Amherst, New York. KB2TH, Thomas, Avocado, New York. WA2UUS, Joel, Buffalo, New York. KD2JP, Bob, Gallatin, Tennessee. and W2EM Chuck, Lancaster, New York. Any general check-ins, come with your call sign twice and slow. Victor Echo, Charlie Echo, off here, Canada. Victor Echo 3, Charlie Echo.
N2BH, N2BH. 82IZ here. I just want to say thank you for running the Tech Net. Thanks for all those that put their time into this. Thank you for logging all the controllers, and hope people keep it up and running. I appreciate it. Y'all have a great night, and 7382IZ out.
WA2KJT, Whiskey Alpha 2 Kilo Juliet Charlie.
2CJM, W2ECR. 2PNR, W2PNR. Looks like we got a nice list there. Starting at the bottom there with Stephen E. Access, New York, WNR, Charles, Selden, New York, W2CJM, Dave, Cleo, Michigan, A2KJC, AD2IZ was in and out, Bill, Palmyra, New York, or no, that was Robert, East Amherst, New York, and N2BH, Bill, Palmyra, New York, KD2VNU, in and out. Alright, let's go to the top of this list via text. Bob, Gallatin, Tennessee, KD2JPP. Question of the evening is, do you plan on going to a ham fest this summer?
Hey, good evening, Roger, and everybody else on the net. No, I have no plans to go to a ham fest this summer. But everybody stay safe, have a great week. You're listening.
You have a great evening too, Bob. Thanks for joining us. Let's move on to Joel via text line, Buffalo, New York, WA2UUS. Good evening, Joel.
Everyone on that. As to the question tonight, usually in the summer I go to one of the ham fests in the region in western New York, either Lockport, Rochester, Lancaster, those types. I wish everyone a nice week ahead. Be well and be safe. Thank you, Roger.
Thank you, Joel, for joining us this evening. Have a wonderful night. Let's move on to Thomas via text line of New York. Evening, Thomas, and do you plan to a ham fest this summer? Are you there, Thomas? KB2TDH. Alright, must have been a flyby. Let's move on to Robert, East Amherst, New York, 82IZ. How about it, Robert?
Not going to be doing a ham fest, not this summer. Wait till next year, probably.
Alright, you have a good evening too, and a good weekend at that. Oh, it's only Tuesday. Have a good week. Sometimes you just don't know where you're at. Let's move on to Andy via text line. Cheektowaga, New York. Good evening, Andy. W2AJR. will wander into one at least. Everybody have a great week. Thank you, Roger.
Yeah, you never know. You can stumble across one. I couldn't imagine that. Let's move on to Robert Kelly, Ville Ridge, New South Wales, VK2DY. Good evening, Robert.
Good evening to you, good afternoon, or good morning from here, excuse me, Robert. It's about 20 degrees Celsius, 68 Fahrenheit, overcast, as per usual. That's what it's been for the last several months. Anyway, the last Ham Fest in the Sydney area was years ago and never come back. So I'd have quite a drive to find the Ham Fest here. So, nope. VK, bye. Back to net.
Well, hopefully you got the interweb, Robert. That always works. It's gotten me in enough trouble lately getting stuff. So have a great evening, or hey, have a great day there, Robert. Let's move on to Chuck via text line, Lancaster, New York, W2. Good evening, Chuck.
Good evening, Roger, and the rest of the group. Yes, attending at least two, helping run a couple of the Ham Fest for our Lark Club. Back to net, W2EM.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing some pictures and videos. Have a great evening, Chuck. And Derby Dan was in and out. Let's move on to my buddy Bill, Palm Mountain, New York, N2PH. I know the answer to this one.
Oh, good evening, Roger. Yep, already been one. Leaving tomorrow for another one. See, in August I'll be helping out the one that we put on, the Rock City Net, and probably go to at least one more. Have a good evening, and to BH.
Can't get enough, can you, Bill? And you better take that QRP rig with a wire you can throw out so we can talk. You have a great evening, and I'll talk to you later. And Dave was in and out. Let's move on to Charles, Selden, New York, WCJM. Good evening, Charles. And do you plan on going to a Ham Fest this summer?
Buddy, I don't think I will be going to a Ham Fest this year. Thank you for doing the net. Everybody have a great
It's my privilege doing the net. I enjoy it. And thanks for joining us this evening. Let's move on to Stephen, East Maracas, New York. I don't know if I got that right, but W2PNR. Good evening, Stephen.
Yeah, W2PNR, it's Mauritius, and nobody ever gets it right. So I'm going to my first Ham Fest month, I guess that's kind of summer, the Limemark Ham Fest, and, take a look, see what's going on, and appreciate everything you guys do here with the net, and so have a great night, everyone. Hey, W2PNR, back to net.
QSL, Stephen. We have a lot of fun with it, and it wouldn't be fun without you guys. And fun. So thanks for joining us this evening. And this is KO4QMM, Roger, in Central Florida, with the East Coast Reflector Tech Net night. And the question is, do you plan on going to a ham this summer? And last on the number 2 list is via text line, Alan, Kendall, New York, N2ZVN. Good evening, Alan.
Good evening, Roger. All in the net tonight. Yes, there is one I want to this summer, Rock City Net,
one, and maybe I'll even run into Bill there, talk to him for a while. It's my weekend. It's looking good so far. All depends on what the wife throws in the mix. Gotta keep her happy. And 2 cents back to the net.
Thank you, Alan. And yeah, I didn't realize how many fests there was till I started watching some on YouTube and stuff. And yeah, they're pretty interesting and around a lot of different places. All right, we're done with the 2s. We're moving on. If you have a 3 in your call sign, come twice and slow and answer the question of the evening.
WB3GTM. Baker 3 Golf Tango Mike.
Whiskey 3 Bravo Radio Lima. Whiskey 3 Bravo Radio Lima.
All right, from the bottom up, via text line, KD8TQ, Jim, Easton, PA. W3BRL, Brady, New Kensington, PA. And WBGTM, Mike, Westford, Vermont. Any other 3s? Alrighty, Mike from Westford, Vermont, WGTM. Do you plan on going to Hamfest this summer?
Good evening here, Roger, and everyone else. Mike WB3GTM. Good to hear you, Roger. No, I don't have no plans at the moment. I don't think there is anything anywhere close to me. And if I go to anything distant, it'll probably be spur of the moment. Nope. I hope everyone attending has a great time. I wish I could be there. Thanks for running a net. Thank you for checking me at 7-3 net control. This is WB.
Thanks, Mike. Have a great evening. Let's move on to Brady, New Kensington, PA. W3BRL. Good evening, Brady.
This is W3BRL, Brady in Kensington. We got to get more 3s on the net here. But yes, actually, I'm not planning on attending Dayton. I'm planning on attending a Hamfest in early June. So, it'll be a 3BRL back to net.
Sounds like fun. I can get lost in them places. It's like Toys R Us. Thanks for joining us. Let's move to Jim, Easton, PA, via text line. KD3ATQ. Good evening, Jim.
Roger, Vicky, and the group. Yes, I plan on attending at least one Hamfest this summer. None scheduled, but I want to get to at least one. Back to net control, KATQ.
Thanks for joining us this evening, Jim. And it for the 3s. This is KO4QMM. We're moving on to the 4s. If you have a 4 in your call sign, come and slow.
KL4FR, KL4FR, in and out. This is Kilo Echo 4 Zulu Yankee Quebec, John Quinn Township, Michigan. Kilo Echo 4 Zulu Yankee Quebec.
Echo, Quebec 4 Foxtrot, Echo.
Kilo, Quebec 4, Oscar, Uniform, X-Ray. That's KQ4OUX, based out of Columbus, North Carolina.
This is 9Y4DX. 9Y4DX is Bertrand. Whiskey 4 Foxtrot, Whiskey November. Whiskey 4 Foxtrot, Whiskey November.
Boy, I gotta tell you, that was pretty neat and orderly there. Let's start from the bottom up via text line. A4B for Brian, Monticello, Kentucky. W4FWN Dan, Sanford, Florida. NY4 and Trinidad and Tobago. KQ4OUX Vincent, Columbus, North Carolina. Then KQ4FHE Pat, Harvest, Alabama. K04FRR Joe in and out, Sorrento, Florida. And then via text line is K4GDS Gib, Orlando, Florida. KK4SED Les, Claremont, Florida. And A4G Jacksonville, Florida. Top of the line via text line. You plan on going to the Ham Fest this summer, Jim? I was checking in on Jim there, AK4G line from Jacksonville, Florida. And I think I might have missed the other Joe, KE4ZYQ. I got you, Clinton, or Joe from Clinton. All right, let's move on to KK4SED via text line. Les, Claremont, Florida. Good evening, Les, and do you plan on going to the Ham Fest this
Evening, everybody on the net. No, got surgery scheduled in the next couple of months, so prepping for that. Priorities first, so take care of family. KK4SED, back to net.
Understood, Les. Hope you have a good evening. Thanks for joining us this evening. Next on via text line, Gil, Orlando, Florida, K4GDS. Good evening, Gil.
Good evening, everyone. I was at Hamcation back in February, but I got no plans to attend any other Ham Fest this summer. K4GDS, back to that.
Yes, sir. I was there too. Really enjoyed it. Joining us this evening. Let's move on to my buddy Joe, Sorrento, Florida. Oh no, he was in and out. Have a good evening. Let's move on to the other that I almost skipped. KE4ZYQ from Clinton Township, Michigan. Good evening, Joe.
Control, this is KE4ZYQ, Joe, Clinton Township, Michigan. And no, I will not be going to any Ham Fest, maybe nearby, but no Ham Fest. Don't have the money or the ability to get there and back easy and walk around, so mobility is at a minimum. So there you go, back to net, and thanks for having a good net. 7-3 from KE4ZYQ.
Thanks for joining us this evening. If you're lucky, you find a fresh scooter and you can really get around. Thanks for that scooter, Dick. Let's move on to Pat, Alabama, KQ4FHE. Good evening, Pat.
Good evening, Roger, and everybody else on the net. Yes, I'm planning on going to Huntsville, Alabama Ham I think it's being held in August. To that. And to everybody, y'all have a good night. KQ4FAT, back to you, Roger.
Sounds like a good time, Pat. Thanks for joining us this evening. Let's move on to Vince, Columbus, North Carolina, KQ4OUX. Do you plan on going to a ham this summer?
Kilo, Quebec 4, Uniform X-Ray. Good evening there, Roger, and everybody on the net. Well, I've got 3 planned right now. Like I said, I'm going to go to the one, which is a couple of days from now, and the Huntsville, Alabama, the 22nd and 23rd, and then the Shelby one, North Carolina, on the 28th and 29th of August. So, 3 of them on the schedule, like I said, and I'm probably going to hit all 3. Just depends on the weather. Hope the weather is good. I a lot of inclement and wet, with the umbrellas and the mud boots and whatnot there. But always enjoy Hamfest, like I said, and always coming back with quite a few items. I'm spending between $500 and $600 usually every time I go. But they always got good buys, and you just can't turn some of the buys down. This is KQ4 OUX, back to Roger, and that's it.
Thank you, Vince. And yeah, hope you have a good time. I'm sure you'll stop in and visit the ECR booth. Everybody there. And man, I hope the weather is great. Hope it was like hamcation down here, 77 and partly cloudy. That's a good day, right? Let's to my Bertrand, Dad, and 9Y4DX. Good Bertrand.
Well, a pleasant evening to you, Net Control. KO4QMM, this is 9Y4. Bertrand in Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean. Let me extend a pleasant evening as well to all of the stations this evening, listening to the East Coast Reflector Tech Net. Hope everyone is doing well and safe. In Trinidad and Tobago today, we had mixed weather, some sun. I can tell you, the temperature reached as high as 8 degrees, and it's going down tonight to 29 degrees. With respect to the question of hand, I am saying no at this point. However, I don't know if that can change later on in the year. But leave room for change. That's it from me. Back to you, Net Control, Rod. 04QMN. This is 9Y4. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us this evening, Bertrand. Your weather sounds a little bit warm there, but I'm sure it's beautiful, and it'd be neat to meet you if you get to the Orlando Ham Fest one of these days. Have a great evening. We'll talk to you next week. Let's move on to W4SWN, Dan, Sanford, Florida. Dan, and do you plan on going to a Ham Fest this summer?
Well, good evening, Roger, and everyone else in that. This is Whiskey 4 Foxtrot Whiskey November. No, went to Orlando vacation, so a little too far away, and I don't intend to be out of town looking for Ham Fest anywhere in this summer. So, answer is no. So anyway, in that control, W4FWN.
Well, thanks for joining us this evening, Dan. You got a nice signal there, and great evening. Let's move on to via Texas, Ryan, Kentucky, AC4BR. Good evening.
Everyone on the Tech Net there, Roger and everybody, I appreciate it. I have been on Hamfest, but
I kind of would have liked to have been. It's not that 4 hours from where I live, but unfortunately some things with the family came up and so forth, and so I'm not going to be able to get to it this year. Like some of them with mobility issues, so I want to cooperate as much as it used to. So, but perhaps next year anyway. I may get some small ones later on. Anyway, I'll turn it back to you all at AC4VR.
Thanks this evening, Brian, and have a great evening. Let's move on to the last 4 of the night for me. That'd be KW4 SOG Mike, Huntsville, Alabama. Good evening, Mike. And do you plan on going to a ham fest this summer?
KW4 SOG. Evening, Roger, and everybody behind the scenes. CR. This will be my first one, but I'll be going to the Huntsville Ham Fest. I believe it's in August. And I think we got a field day coming up too that I may go and check out. My only requirement is my wallet at home, because I understand that you can show up with money and leave with a whole lot less. KW4 SOG, back to that, 70, buddy.
Yeah, a lot of people wagons. You can drag a wagon around with you and load it up. You have a great evening there, Mike. Good talking to you. Let's move. This is KO4QMM Roger in South Florida, and we're going to move on to the 5. If you have a 5 in your call sign, listen slowly and answer the question of the evening.
Kilo Delta 5 Alpha. Kilo Delta 5 Alpha Romeo. Kilowatt 5 Hotel Lima Hotel, K5 H in and out.
Alright, via text line we got KI5 PMI, Bill Hobbs, New Mexico. In and out, Harry Grant, New Mexico, K. And we got Mike via text. Oh, he's already there. Brad, KD5AR, Brad, Milton, Florida. Anybody else with a 5 that we missed? Alrighty then, we're going to move on to Brad Milton. 5AR, plan on going to the Ham Fest this summer.
Good evening, y'all out here. I'm an old-time ECR guy. I've just been on vacation for about a year almost, I guess it seems. I've been working on this nano node. I got this thing going in my truck here in Houston, Texas. It seems to be working pretty good. But anyway, yes, local Milton Amateur Radio Club. They're having from what I've heard, it is the largest ham fest in the Panhandle of Florida. It's pretty big. It's a big ordeal, and it's going to be in July, and I'm going to be there for that. And anybody that goes, my 10-year-old daughter is the ticket drawer, so you get to meet her too. So anyway. But yes, I will be going to that, and I'll probably bring a couple $100 and, see if I can find some fun little play toys to buy. So anyway, back to you, and thank you much. Have a great evening. This is KD5AR.
Thanks for joining us, Brad. And good information there. Sounds like your daughter's going to be a ham radio enthusiast there. You ought to check out the youth nights they have on Friday evenings here on the East Coast and get her involved in it. I'm sure they could use you. Thanks for being there. Let's move on to KI5PMI via text line. Bill Hobbs, New Mexico. Good evening, Bill.
Roger, and everybody on net. Unfortunately, no, I will not be attending Ham Fest this summer. Hope everybody has a good night. KI5, PMI, Tech Net.
Thanks for joining us, Bill, and you have a good night there. And that's it, guys. It's time to move on to the sixes. This is KO4QMM, and the text line we already have KUFM, Charles in Kitay, California, KAAN via text line Mike, Valley Springs, California. Any other sixes, come with your call sign. Kilo Foxtrot 6 Hotel Delta Juliet. Foxtrot 6 Hotel Delta Juliet.
November 6, Quebec Delta Yankee, N6QDY.
Alright, that was nice and orderly there. We got N6QDY, David, Sacramento, California. K6HDJ, Brent, Pensacola, Florida. And I already said the rest. Let's move up to the top to Charles. You're up to bat, Charles, Kitay, California. Do you plan on going to a ham fest this summer?
Good evening, Roger. It's been a while since I was able to talk to you, and say thank you to Vicki for logging, and you and Dick and Kevin keeping the caps moving all in the same direction tonight. But as far as the question is concerned, I'm going to say yes, because there is a local ham fest maybe 25 miles from me, but it's not until October. But I'm going to call that this summer anyway, because I will definitely go into that one. Otherwise, good to hear everybody out there. Seemed like press got the in the Q&A session this evening, so I was just kind of sitting back here sipping on a cold drink. So anyway, everybody have a great weekend. Well, try that again. Great week ahead, and stay out of trouble. And Roger, remember one thing about net control. You've got to be 5% technical guru, 5% top shelf operator, and 90% stand-up comedian. Take care, everyone. 7-3. This is KC6 UFM. Back to net.
Thanks for the flowers there, Charles. And man, you walking around a fest with your knowledge, you'd be fun to talk to and hang out with. You could just give a lot of knowledge. Thanks for Charles, always. And next is Mike, Valley Springs, California, K6AAN. Good evening, Mike.
Well, good evening, Roger. Good to hear you out there tonight, everybody on the net. That'll be negative for me as far as Ham Fest. I'm got all the gear I need, and going to attend some other different events this summer, so spare money left to go to Ham Fest, that's for sure. Not this year anyway. We just appreciate you guys, and thank you for doing that logging. That's feature there. Definitely got to have a special set of ears for that. Back to you, Roger. This is K6AAN.
Yeah, it would be a really slow night if I was doing the logging. Thank you, Vicki. All right, let's move on to Brent, Pensacola, Florida, KFHDJ. Good evening. And do you plan on going to a ham fest this summer?
Well, good evening to everyone on the net. And I thought I was all ham-fested out after vacation. It was a great event. I really enjoyed seeing everybody from the ECR. But now that I heard that there's going to be a ham fest up in Milton, I will definitely have to get up and give that a shot. Great to hear somebody else out there from the Milton Fletcher Radio Club. Everyone have a great evening, and 73 KF6HDJ back to net control.
Thanks, Mr. Brent. You have a wonderful evening too. And see, I'm not the only one that said have a good week. Charles tried to say that too. It is only Tuesday, people. And let's move on to the last 6 on my list. David, Sacramento, California, N6QDY. Good evening, David.
Hey. Hello, CQ, Roger, Dick, Vicki, Kevin, and everybody in the Zoom room. M6 Sacramento. Let's see, I plan to, so I'm going to say yes. I plan to make a ham fest. Everybody have a good evening, and QDY near Sacramento.
Thanks for joining us this evening, David, and you have a wonderful evening. And for me, I had a lot of fun doing it. I thank Dick, WBJPQ, for letting me in here to have fun, and Vicki for logging. And I'm a little wore out from doing tree work the last couple days and getting ready to play with a portable antenna. Get birds out of the way so I can play. And probably be on the 20-meter net 10 a.m. Thursday morning, 14.7. So anybody with the privilege will see you there. All right, thanks everybody for being with me. KO4QMM, Roger. Over to Dick. Thank you, Dick.
Well, thank you, Roger. This is Dick, WB2JPQ. As long as my voice holds out here tonight, I'll be with you. I've been fighting heavy pollen and been kind of going in and out. Got to get through the net tonight, through the morning brew, so we can head to Dayton tomorrow. We're doing the 7s. We already got Alan and 7WZI via the text line. Stations in number 7 with a 7 in your call sign. Please give us your call.
Kilo Juliet 7, Whiskey Oscar Hotel, K7WO8.
Kilo 7, Sierra Tango Whiskey. Kilo 7, Sierra Tango Whiskey. KK7OGC, KK7OGC. Well, there's 4 7s tonight. Good evening to Fred and Reno. Good evening to Ron, Marty, and Alan, and 7WZI. Good evening to you, Alan. And you plan on attending any ham fest this summer?
If I can find one up here in Florida, no, but I wasn't really planning on anything.
I'll put you down for none, Alan, but you never know. There might be one. Good to hear you. I haven't had a chance to talk to you. I don't think since back. Maybe once I did. Don't think you're up early enough any morning with the time change to check into the group. Good evening to Marty, KJ7 WH.
Yeah, hey there, Dick. Join the club. I'm kind of suffering from a little hay fever myself that comes with springtime. I've never been to this. There's one coming up in a few weeks here. It's called a CPAC. It's on the Oregon coast. So I'm going to try to make it there this year. In previous years, it was my birthday, so I'll give it a shot anyway. Thank you very much. This is KJ7WOH, Song 3.
Thank you, Marty. Good evening to Ryan, 7TW.
Good evening, SGW. No, I have no plans to go to a ham fest. I'm in Pahrump, Nevada. There may be some, like in the Vegas area, I'm not sure, but have no plans. Just playing on the ham radio. Anyway, good evening to all, and I'll back to net, KK7SGW.
We got you down for no plans, Ron. How about Fred in Reno, KK7OGC? Good evening, Fred.
Good evening to Dick and Vicky and everyone else on the net. I might try to make the Oregon Coast Ham Fest, but no plans now. Put me down for that. Anyway, KK7OGC, back to net.
Okay, no plans for you, Fred. Hope to see you Thursday. And ask the Elmer be an Elmer. Let's go to stations at number 8. If you got an 8 in your call sign, please give us your call sign. I got CJ in here and I got Roy in Blaisdell. 8s only, please. Call signs twice. This is Dick, WB2JPQ.
8085, November 8, Oscar Alpha Yankee, Dave, Huntsville, Alabama.
The Grants Pass Hub is online.
Let me grab it here a minute. The last station that said Michigan, that's all we heard was Michigan, the last station. I'm sorry. It's our problem here. We had a bridge hanging up. The last station that said Michigan, the station that said Michigan, please.
Whiskey Delta 8 Kilo Lima Lima WD8 KLL. Greg in Burton, Michigan.
We got you, WD8 KLL. with an 8 in their call sign that I did not acknowledge.
Whiskey 8, Charlie Romeo Whiskey.
Maybe you didn't hear me acknowledge you before. Let's go up to Ryan Blaisdell. KA8BYU. Good evening, Ryan. Do you plan on attending any HempFest this summer? I hope to, depending on things definitely like to, and also for the meet and greet next month. Back to you. Yeah, look forward to seeing you, Roy. I'll make that the Western New York meet and greet gathering spot for is June 21st, Saturday, June 21st. So please let us know if you haven't already sent in your VP. Everyone's welcome. It's at Chestnut Ridge, New York, a beautiful park south of the city of Buffalo, high up on a hill. CR, rather, I'm sorry, Unionville, Pennsylvania, we have a CJ and we have a CR. W8CRW, good evening.
Good evening, Dick, and all on the net. Yes, there's one in the area. So it's the Gloucester County Amateur Radio Club. It's on September the 7th this year. And I attend, and we usually have a meet-up with some of the local guys. Back to net.
Got you down for a yes. Moving along to David in Huntsville, N80AY.
Good evening, everyone on the net. Good to be back on the net. The repeater that I use usually cuts off after 2 hours. I've missed the last few. I definitely plan on going to the Huntsville HamFest this year. This is the first time for that, so we look forward to it. N80AY, back to that.
Thumbs up for the Huntsville HamFest. WD8K, WD8, yeah, KLL. Good evening to you, Greg. Yeah, well, good evening to everybody on the net. Yeah, I'm NPM and didn't plan quick enough to get down to Dayton, but we do have another HamFest in Hudsonville, which is on the other side of the state of Michigan, coming up here in June, and I'm going to try to attend that, so you can put me down for a yes. So WD8KLO from Burton, Michigan, back to net. Got you down for a yes. Thanks for being there. I'm going to the 9, number 9. If you got a 9 in your call sign, we'd like to hear from you. This is Dick B2JPQ. Wow, nobody home at number 9. Stations with a 9 in your call sign is the 9th call district. Call signs twice, please. I guess nobody's home there tonight. How plan stations with 0 in your call sign? Net control.
Bravo Foxtrot.
Kilo Charlie 0 Bravo Bravo Foxtrot. Text line. Sorry.
Net control. Net control. This is K0 K1 Kilo 0 Kilo Oscar November. Roger in Houston.
Whiskey 0 Victor Hotel W0 SBH.
Net control. Please recognize Kilo Delta 9, Zulu Delta Romeo. For some reason the radio wasn't transmitting. I had to switch radio. Yes, Kilo Delta 9, Zulu Delta Romeo.
We'll let you get in here with the 0, seeing that you had an issue there. You've been our only 9. We got you in KD9ZDR. We got Sean in Anderson, Texas, W0SCH. Got Roger in Houston. And we got Steve, KC0BBF. Well, I got it here. I'm going to take our district here tonight. I'm going to take stations with a 1. If you got a 1 in your call sign, we're going to add you right in here at the bottom of the list, and then we'll come back and do the late and missed. Stations in the first call, a 1 in your call sign. Hearing nothing, we'll pick these 4 up, and then we'll pick up our late and missed. Up to you, Steve, KC0BBF.
W2JPQ, KC0. Well, I went to our ham fest this weekend and picked up a Ohio microphone, brand new, which I'm getting good reports of, so my old one I think was broken, but yeah, you can put me down for one ham fest. I guess the turnout was over 300 people. That's the largest we've ever had. But I'll be on the Zoom room tomorrow, KC0BBF.
Alright, thank you, Steve. Good evening to Roger from Houston, Texas. Looks like you're new to the system. Roger, welcome. And it looks like you do have a current email address on QRZ, so our system will automatically send you a welcome letter. K0KON.
Thank you very much. This is K0KON. Just switched over from another net on 2 meters, turned on the net here locally on 449.3 and found this net running. I think maybe from what I've gathered, you're asking about going to Hamfest. Went to 2 years ago, went to a local one last year, but have not gone to anything yet so far this year. It's K0K1, back to net.
All right, Roger, our question, you got it, you're dead on. Our question is, are you planning on going to a Hamfest this summer?
Okay, well, I got the question, and I gave you an answer. I don't have any plans yet, but if something pops up, I definitely will. So we'll be watching for anything that pops up here in the area. Okay, went back to that.
Thank you, Roger. Of course, Dayton's this coming week, and or not this week, well, some of us are leaving for our pilgrimage. Thanks for being there. Sean in Anderson, Texas, W0SCH.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you for holding the net. W2ECR over here in Anderson, Texas. I call it Carlos. That's kind of actually where I'm actually at. I've been to a couple of ham fests earlier this year, and I know we have the Texas one up in northwest Texas coming up on the end of the May, and Thailand's down in closer to Texas City is going to be coming up in July. And hopefully, depending on my schedule from working offshore, I can make one of those. But in between, one up in Louisville, Texas, June 6th and 7th. So, somewhere in there, I hope I can grab one this summer. Back to you, Net Control, W2ECR.
Thank you, Sean. We got you down for a yes. And last on this list, before I go to the late and this is Kevin from Chicago, Illinois, KD9Z. Good evening, Kevin. Kevin, are you still? I know you're on the on one of the digital modes. KD9ZDR. I'm sorry, Kevin. I just heard about 5 packets from that bridge, and that's all. So I don't know what's going on there, whether your internet's bad or just what. But thanks for trying. Let's go to late and missed. Missed your call district. This is the time to get in here. Anybody, try to keep them somewhat orderly if we can. Anybody, anywhere. This is Dick WB2JPQ. Call signs twice.
Victor Echo 3, India, Quebec, November Mike. 3IQU.
Quebec 4, Quebec, November Mike.
Whiskey 4, Hotel Kilo Lima. Whiskey 4, Hotel Kilo Lima.
Whiskey Delta 8, Papa India Charlie. Whiskey Delta 8, Papa India Charlie.
Victor Echo 3, India, Quebec uniform, just in the event you missed me the first time around. V3IQU.
N0 MSS. N0 MSS, late.
All right. Vicky drew a line in the sand. That'll work tonight. You're not usually for us. That's unusual for you. N0 MSS, Wappington, North Dakota. Bob in Sylvania, Ohio. Steve in Cumberland Gap. Larry, looks like you're new to the system. KQ4QNM. We got you, Reg, V3IQU. I want to take one more standby for Kevin in Chicago. KD9ZDR. Kevin, you want to try it one more time?
Hello, this is Kilo Delta 9. Hello, Delta Romeo. Kevin in Chicago. Hopefully I'm coming through this time. Thanks for doing this the net tonight, and I plan on going to Xenia this weekend. Well, originally I wasn't, but now I am. I need a new radio, so I'm thinking I want to get another base, 2 meters, 70 centimeters. So, yeah, and I'm going to go to a couple other ham fests, and our club, we have our own in September. So, yeah, I like ham fests. I love it for the camaraderie, not just buying the product. So, but now I need a product, and hopefully I can find a nice 2 meter, 70 centimeter
7585 to 7589 are our outdoor flea market spots. You know, those numbers are awful hard to read there. They put them on stakes on the ground and they're awful hard to read, but that's where we're going to be. Ontario, VE3IQU. Good evening, Reg.
And a very good evening to you there, Dick, and everybody else. And that tonight, everybody's enjoying this beautiful weather we've been having, and continue to have into the summer. His wife and I are fine, Reg, and hope you are, and your good lady. And for whatever reason, this old man has forgotten what the question of the night was. Could you remind me of it, Dick, please, the V3IQ?
Yeah, the question is, Reg, do you plan on attending a ham fest this summer? Do you plan on attending a ham fest this summer?
Well, I'll tell you, Dick, if one comes along, I that's some consideration. It has been a while since I've been to one. There's a couple of things that I would like to obtain, and sometimes, not always, but sometimes they're a little bit less expensive at a ham fest. But besides that, it'd be nice to meet up with someone to talk to from week to week to week. Around Ontario here especially. So we'll give that a lot of consideration, Dick, that's for sure. Toss it back to you from V3IQU, and hope everybody out there has a great week.
Canada was represented last year. Sure will be this year as well. Larry, looks like you're new to the system. Good evening, KQ4QM.
Yeah, I appreciate you letting me on here. I just bought this new radio and somebody programmed it for me, and I was just going up through the channel mode and found this and have no idea what repeater I'm on or what net I'm on, but it sounds like a good one. Over.
Well, you're on the East Coast Reflector Tech Net. East Coast Reflector Tech Net. I show you coming in here. What is it? W4BWW. Kodak, Tennessee. That's about all I can tell you, Larry, so thanks for being there. Notice you do not have a current email address on your QRZ page. You might want to update that, make your email address public, and we'll send you a welcome letter. Let's go to Steve, W4HKL. Good evening, Steve.
Good evening, Dick, and everyone on the net. To answer your question, I do plan on going to the Knoxville Ham Fest and possibly another smaller local one. Would love to go to the one, up there in Ohio that's coming up, I guess, this weekend, but, Dayton just never has worked out for me. But anyway, maybe one of these days I'll make the trip and get to have an eyeball QSO with a lot of the guys on here. Anyway, back to net. Have a good one, W4HKL.
Alrighty, Steve. Yep, would love to meet you sometime. Thanks for being there. Bob, Sylvania, Ohio. Good evening, Bob.
Okay. I do not attend on. I do not plan on attending any ham fest only because they're always on Sundays, and I like church. And fluid in the legs, and walking is fine, but standing around talking to people, it makes it a lot worse. So I go to church and put my feet up, and sometimes I'm up reading, but I don't have to stand very long to do that. And I love it. Cloudy and rainy, and the rain is coming from a totally opposite direction than what it normally does because of a low pressure system to our south. It's kind of weird, but in a couple of days it's supposed to get out of here. Thank you very much for doing the net, for everybody doing the net. I missed the net. I had to fix a speaker connection, and I went off frequency, and I needed open squelch noise to diagnose a poor speaker connection. Back to net, WD8PIC.
Great, Bob. Thanks for being here. Next up is Ross and 0MSS. Good evening, Ross.
Yeah, good evening, Dick, and everybody on the net. Nice night for a walk tonight. Just got back from walking one of my German Shepherds. And now I leashed up the other one and just getting ready to go out for the next one. So, I missed my turning. I must have been busy getting stuff ready before I was in my call group there. Anyway, Hamfest time. Yeah, we got one more coming up here within 45, 50 miles away. That's coming up in a couple months that I'll probably head off to. So put me down for a yes on the Hamfest, and hopefully I don't buy too much. Back to net and 0MSS.
All right, we got you down for a yes, Ross. Okay, for MMX. You guys slid in via the text line. Good evening.
Feel like an idiot for sending you that message earlier, but won't get into that on the air. As far as the question is concerned, I don't have any specific plans, but if any of them turn up, local.
Here in about 2 minutes. Sorry about that. You'll be in the Zoom room, I'm sure. We had to take you off if you want. How can you hear me? I took him off. Next up, Carlos, and last on the list is Carlos. Send one CBM.
Good evening, Dick, Vicky, and everybody else in the Tech Net tonight. I always plan to go to all these events, but schedule always seems to play a bad one on me. The Orlando one last February was good for me since it's close, but the other ones, I hope, I'm always crossing my fingers to get a flight to a city close by so I can drop by and say hello. That's it. Back to you, Dick, and one CBN.
Well, thank you, Carlos. Sure was nice to meet you at Orlando. Well, that'll do it for us. For Kevin, KE7K, and KO4QMM is probably already sound asleep. Vicky, as always, KE8PKY on the log. This is WB2JPQ. Vicky and I will see you for the Open tomorrow from 7 to 8, and then we're all off. So have a good night, everybody. This is WB2JPQ.